Truth Entertainment Films and AAA Productions presents the AAA Podcast. We're aware, alive, and about it. We're here to cover all topics, no holds barred, from politics to sports. We've got you covered. No topic is off limits. No issue is too hot. This is the AAA Podcast.
Point out the bounce.
Yeah.
What up, D80?
Back in the building, man.
Back in the building, brother. Welcome. For those that have come far, near, and from wide, this is AAA Podcast. I am one third of your host. I am Black V, aka Jay Harris. That is D80, aka JK Kitchen. The big time. He's big in the tennis world now, man. I don't know how long he'll be able to keep getting on this.
I don't know. The Miami Open just denied me, so I don't know.
Oh, bro, who we need to go see?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Well, yeah, I got their denial last week, so I wasn't too happy about that. But it's all to the good.
Understandable. It's good to see you, brother. Good to see you alive and well.
Likewise.
Hey, bro. I every time we pod, I always in my head said you got the most dopest background for when you pod.
Thank you.
It's not. It is just like the two posters. Just how iconic what they mean to hip hop.
Yeah.
So much of our childhood, but
facts though, for sure. I remember playing when I think we were still living across the street from an artist when I got Biggie's ready to die tape.
Mm-hmm.
I was bumping that mug in the back room we had back there. Just loving that shit. Like Biggie, man, those songs raised us. I hate to say it, but
Wu-Tang. Yeah, you know what? I would like to say our parents were strict enough. We got a little bit of discernment, enough discernment for us not to go out and try to repeat every damn thing we heard in the song.
Well, that's a fact. Because J.O. Felony was talking about smoking Sherm, and that was one of my favorite rappers, and I never had a fucking inkling of ever doing that.
Never, bro. Like, no. Once I found out what a Sherm stick was, I was like, no, crack is whack.
I mean, even when I didn't know what it was, like it wasn't no. I mean, I just didn't. It just wasn't my thing. Like, what? Okay, that's what you smoke. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not about to, Then he talking about getting. He was on the curb, woke up by a carton of milk or something like that, because he was like, going off Sherm. I'm like, man, I ain't about to do that shit.
Nah, bro.
Well, Salute Red.
Water. What's up? Talking about water, huh?
J.O. Felony. You remember him?
Yeah, sure, sticks.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
Circle, smoking on shirt.
Sticks,
But I knew before that. South Central. Once I seen what the motherfuckers was doing, I said,
"Oh yeah, right."
Yeah, I'm cool with that shirt water.
Yeah, but I just never. Like you said, man, some of that stuff he's like, nah. Plus, we got family members that was on drugs and things, and we saw that. So it was like, man, are you kidding me? I'm not about to end up like that.
But since we're on the topic, I don't know. I'm going to ask you because I know you live in Cleveland. How big is that shit there?
How big is what?
Sherm.
Ooh. Okay, so man, it was like a dope boy thing, you know what I'm saying? So back in like 2005-ish, 2006-ish, my neighbor was doing it, right, Greg? He lived across the street. My brother and his girlfriend on the porch. I'm upstairs, working on music or whatever. And I hear this big crash downstairs, and I hear all these people yelling. So, I go grab my gun, and I run downstairs like I don't know what done happened, but I got to do something. We about to find out.
It's Cleveland, yeah, you got to.
Yeah, but so Chris, the dude, pretty much the crackhead across the street, he took a hit of that fire and thought he was on fire, and ran through our front window.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so he on the ground bleeding, screaming, all this other stuff, and my brother like, hey, we should shoot him.
What?
Well, we didn't like him because we had beef with them because it was like a whole man. We my mom been over there pretty much our whole life, so we didn't have beef with them all the time, and it was over some like shit like that. So he thinking like, man, I could just heat him up real quick and we'll get away with it because he broke in. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, as great as that sounds, no.
Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Right. So but anyway, he ended up going to jail for that. But but in the 90s, man, for whatever reason, man, it was just a cool thing that like them upper dope boys did. Not like little people hiding in the, like, it wasn't like that popular. It was just them guys.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it just like Reg, like I was a J.O. Felony fucking fan. Okay, seriously, had the first album. Just love this cat to death. But it just never. It never popped into my head. Oh, let me go try to do that.
The reason why I'm asking that is because the only place I know,
they call it wet here.
Right. The only place I know, probably within 2 hours of where I'm from, that people that do that is Cleveland, right?
Really?
So yeah. People from PA and shit like that, they don't do that. Like motherfuckers from Youngstown, they don't do that. Like the people I know who do it is people from Cleveland, motherfuckers from DC, everybody black from down south, right? We got that. And them LA motherfuckers. But I'm not too aware of it except when I was going through my shit, when I used to, I'm always gonna be alcoholic. I just haven't had a drink in 7 years. But when I was going through my little transition of not drinking and shit, right? When I went to rehab, I met this motherfucker from Cleveland. He was from Huff.
Oh yeah, I know. Ooh, yeah, ooh. Man,
this motherfucker was like in there trying to make it seem like he was the cool thing to do, like talking to us like we weird for not trying it. I'm like, man, I'm not doing it like everybody do it. I'm like, man, I'm not smoking water, dude.
Not at all.
Nah. And then he used to tell me about the shit he used to do off of it. I'm like, I'm cool.
Exactly. That'll tell you the story right there.
Bro, I'll pass. No. I am there. Just say no. Nope.
It don't sound like a good idea. Think about what it is. Like literally what it is. From our hat.
Yeah, like come on,
Bro, I just never found like some of the stuff was like common sense. Like as kids, we used to just hear crackheads being clowns so much, and you just like knew, like at least I felt I knew that like crack came from coke. So I ain't trying to do no coke, because I don't want to be broke and then end up on crack. Like, and then you know what I'm saying? Like, it just like I think the first time I probably ever got high was on accident, and that was because of fingernail polish remover.
You was huffing?
I didn't even know it. It was like the next week in school. I'm sitting there. You know what they give you in school? Like when you young, they give you them lessons over like the Mr. Yuck. She had a Mr. Yuck labels and everything else. And they talk about inhalants, and I'm sitting there looking like, oh.
That's too dark.
I know. I just was sniffing like my mom's fingernail polish remover. Like, look at this dude. Look at this dude. He was like, oh my. I know.
You're a crazy dude, man.
Listen to this. I kind of got like a preview into the future about drugs when I was about 14. Listen to true story. So you went to Red, Jamar. So you know that the white people were like a tight knit community.
Yeah.
You know, for the most part. You know, a lot of them they hung together. Right. A lot of them smoked cigarettes together.
Yeah.
Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? In front of the school. There was this one, I can't remember his name. He didn't stay around long. He was already a full-blown drug addict the first day I ever met him in my life.
Damn.
Right? And he was in my homeroom. This motherfucker was telling me about drugs. I didn't find out about him until I was an adult. Oh, he used to be sitting there telling us about mushrooms, different ways you can do them. He said you can make a tea out of it. He was telling us about sniffing hallucinogens. He was telling LSD. Yeah, he was telling me that it comes on like a piece of paper. He said it's like rat poison or some shit. He said that motherfucking mushrooms was basically the pure form of the shit. Like he was telling us all kind of stuff, like about ecstasy and stuff. I'm like, how the fuck, you know? But he was completely a drug addict because his father basically introduced him to that life, and that's all he knew. I don't know where the fuck he was really from because he wasn't from around here.
But how do you get the money at that age to do that though? Like,
I don't know.
Like,
because this was in 96, 97.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the youth, because that would be rare. Like, you know, that's not, you know, there's no internet pre-order.
Yo, shout out to Gary Walker. He was like, he says Youngstown dudes was drinking syrup and putting it on cigarettes and Black and Milds.
Yeah.
Not in the 90s.
No, he's just sitting there saying like,
Yeah.
whatever. The 90s too.
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
I do.
I'm happy I don't recall that.
Yeah, I don't recall that. I never.
I was naive I was naive in the 90s, man. I mean, I knew certain stuff, but like there was just certain stuff like I didn't know. Like I can recall growing up in my childhood and remember going over. I won't put this aunt out there, but family member's house, and then you would go in, and I can remember there being like weed on the table and then coke on the table. But you're just a little kid, so you don't remember. Then I can recall going like to one of our other family members' house out there on the south side. Shout out to the family up that way. And it'd be like just walking the house and just straight up weed smoker motherfuckers. Like we used to have other people who would stay with us and get high all the time, and it wasn't just off weed.
Yeah, you told Uncle Larry, don't try to get off that.
I wasn't gonna say his name, man. I wasn't gonna say his name.
Like that. Okay,
Uncle Larry was getting high.
He was trying to skate around. You told on him. My dad was like, "What? What you mean he get it? Where did he do it?" I was like, "Oh wow, that was so funny."
Yeah, it was just different, bro. Like the whole experience of just seeing it and just not knowing
it didn't make you want to do it though.
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
I've seen the way drugs changed one of my favorite aunts, like her whole life, and then she got around the wrong dude, and he got her started off in it, and then it just opened up, and her whole world changed, and that hurt. Yeah, man, that shit hurt.
Even with cigarettes and shit, like think about it. Like I never thought I was gonna smoke. I used to watch people when I was a kid. Well, I don't smoke cigarettes and Black and Milds. Now I did used to smoke Black and Milds, but I used to sit there and watch people smoke as a kid. I used to be like, why did you do this? Why are you sitting there risking your life just to go? Never.
Logically, it makes no sense,
right?
But you know. That Black and Mild thing, them college days, man. Jamar tell you, man, we used to go through black like
driving the freaking blacks.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, you used to be black. Hey, D80 used to be freaking black like it was nothing. Like rolling down the road.
Well, I mean, when the paper gets stuck, I mean, and then you got to get tired. You use this long ass fingernail to unclip it, stuff like that.
Yeah,
straws and shit.
Right.
Shout out to my Cuddy, R.I.P. Rest in peace, my Cuddy Ty Henderson. This dude used to he always kept a long pinky nail and always knew how to get it when the paper was stuck in there in the Black and Mild.
But I had braids in the Cadillac.
yeah, you did. Hey, you fit the stereotype.
Right.
I just seen Rosa the other day.
Did you?
Uh-huh.
Man. I got to get in the and check out some of the people. I got like some cousins, man. I'll be wanting to go see them, and I ain't seen them in forever. But like when I hear, I'm like, oh, they still on that shit. They still on that shit like back when we was younger and whatnot. And so you be like, but just catch them in traffic. And just keep it.
Let's get it going, y'all.
Yo, all right.
I got a good hour before I fall out.
All right, so we're gonna start it off with news. The news. And the first thing we want to do is Vivek Ramaswamy says if elected governor, one of the main things he wants to do is end state taxes for the state of Ohio.
I'll go first, if you will.
There we go.
There's reasons why states like Texas and states like Florida and places who don't have state tax, they know how to sustain their autonomy because there's a resource there that they can lean on for that revenue to continue to come in for the state, right? So you're like, how does your state make money? Well, what your state makes money by doing is leasing land for centuries to oil owners who we assume own the land because they're there in Texas and they've been there for hundreds of years. But they not. They got to deal with the state to constantly pump that revenue so you can afford to not have fucking state taxes. But when you don't have a state with that kind of a valuable resource, it makes it a little bit harder.
Unless they let mega farms come in and take over.
Exactly. Or if your state has and California has taxes, but I'm just saying, if you have a state like California where the appeal is there because the industries are there, the money is there, the people are there, and people just gonna fucking come, you can do no state taxes.
Well, that's Florida.
No, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Ohio doesn't have that infrastructure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds so fucking good to us because we want to keep that extra $600 to $1,200 that we file for at the end of every tax season for. But in my opinion, it's just because once that money goes, all of a sudden you're gonna see layoffs and you ODOT, you'll see, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know who works at ODOT, but yeah.
I mean, like the highway systems, the people,
Oh, the prisons, the prisons alone depend on
exactly.
That's all state tax. Yeah.
So that stuff, it's a trickle. Reggie, man, can you, man? Listen, I got like earbuds in my ears, so can you do that shit? It sounds like a car.
He over there coughing up a lung. He like,
right.
Yes, it is a car.
This is you, man. Please, you're killing me.
I tend to agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly, 100%. Ohio's not set up for that. Again, going back to what you said, even when they were talking, I think we had issues before, and they wanted to raise it. They wanted to raise the gas tax or stop collecting gas tax. I think when we were going through COVID, because gas prices were so high, they were trying to lower gas prices. And Georgia could do it, but Ohio is not set up like that. Every state's got their own little setup, and they pay for things. Our prisons are run off of your state taxes, but your Department of Transportation, your Highway Patrol, and quite a few other things run off of your gas tax. And so Ohio can't afford to cut that off, or you be relying on federal funding to run it.
You don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that.
Because depending on whoever is the presidency, they can pull your strings.
Damn, Gary says Texas gets about 2.6 trillion a year off of collecting the taxes off of the oil companies or whatever.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I lived down there. I saw it. I was like, oh shit, this is the shit. I'm serious, man. When you see that little hammer thing going in it's fishing for millions of dollars. Like, people don't think that. You just think it's work. No, man, that's millions of dollars. Every dip is like 700,000. They got it calculated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's Texas.
He said
no joke.
36.2 billion a year in Ohio. I think they get off of state. Must be off of state taxes.
Yeah, but again, we just don't. We weren't built like that, and we really could be, because salt mining in Ohio is $1 billion industry because we have the code. Like, we are that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's not set up as a private industry like that. That's all federal government shit. You know what I'm saying? Those aren't like private companies doing it. So it's.
Have you ever been to the salt mine up there by Lake Erie?
Yeah, but there's several.
Okay.
There's one on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the hood, of course. There's one by Lake Erie, of course, and then there's one underground, which is like underneath the whole.
What's about over there by Steel Yard?
Well, yeah. Well, no. That's more. I know what you're talking about, but that's like
that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
No, that's the stuff they sell.
That's the salt.
Yeah, the stuff they sell.
Well, they do both. Morton out of Cleveland does both. They sell for the roads, and then they sell for the shit that you eat.
That's like by the steel yard, because that's commerce more so than the stuff for, like, our roads and stuff. I don't know if I'm making sense or not, man. We can move on.
I think that I think it would work. I think if they took taxes away, it would work. Ohio they don't have the same kind of oil, obviously, that Texas has. But you get the fracking.
That's not the point. It's infrastructure. It's not because we have hundreds of thousands of natural resources right now. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about infrastructure. That infrastructure I'll go ahead, man. I'm not saying we don't have the resources. That was never what I'm saying. And I don't know if
infrastructure just isn't set up. That's not the makeup of our infrastructure. Our infrastructure is, even when we farm, our farming infrastructure is set up that Ohio actually grows the food for the livestock around the country. Like that's where majority of our farming resource, our things we farm here, the corn, your hay, your fruits, vegetables, and whatnot. We basically feed the livestock that makes the other products that we get from. It's like weird but cool learning all this shit. How our infrastructure is set up. Like every state has been set up. And it kind of bleeds in what we'll talk later on with tariffs and stuff like that. The way things are going, it's almost become a codependent society, and everybody in a way plays a role in some shape, form, or fashion in the chain of the way things are going. And so once you change that, it's going to create a whole nother world of problems trying to switch over to do it a different way.
What I think,
not everybody's built for it.
I've been to Texas a few times, right? And I get what you're saying. Like sometimes, so for instance, right, I can't even think of the name of the city the last time I was in Texas, but it was outside of Austin, right? Mm-hmm. To get to the airport, we're talking about more than an hour drive. And you're just seeing miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of farmland. So what I think it is I think that Texas is because of its size more than anything, right? To go from one side to the other of Texas, we're talking about a 16-hour drive. And if we're talking about the unpopulated major cities, then of course you're going to have all that fucking farmland. So I think it's just because they're so big that they have so much of it, to your point, that they can pull that shit off. But I think Ohio is just set up where they had taxes already. So if you take it away, I don't really see how it would hurt, truthfully, because they just gonna find another way to tax it with federal. So
no, you'll pay for it. You'll trust me, they'll find a way for you to pay for it. You're gonna pay for it another way. Like it's like you'd be surprised what your taxes does pay for, and then you say, okay, you take it away, right? So when you take it away and you say, okay, now we have these services. So now your
the soda tax and the beer tax and they even do that bull. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get sick.
So now you got to figure out who's gonna pay for your roads, who's gonna pay the company for the roads. You'll keep your roads safe in the wintertime, right? To plow them, to fix them, everything else. All that, even when you see them private contracting companies out there, and it's not the state of Ohio, that's still paid for by your gas tax and some of your state tax, your prisons. A lot of these hospitals and these universities eat off of state taxes. There's a lot that goes into state taxes in Ohio because just the way Ohio is set up. And now when you take that away, you're like, okay, that stuff still has to be funded. So if you're not paying it to the government of Ohio, the state of Ohio, you're going to be paying it to some type of other way. They're going to get their money some shape, form, or fashion. Your taxes is going to go up in other areas.
You know what? I don't like that a person that is not really from Ohio can make decisions about Ohio. I don't like that.
He's from Cincinnati.
Born there?
Born there, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from the Nasty Natty.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because that's how he got to run for president.
Oh. Yep. I didn't know Salami was from here. Okay.
Yeah, he's from the Natty.
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. You can't run for president unless you're naturally born here. That's true. But I wasn't aware he was from Cincinnati.
Let's jump on the next one and let's make it flow.
Man,
the gas prices out of control. Crooked Joe and the radical left destroyed affordability for hardworking Americans. It's a total scam. On day one, I'll slash prices so fast it'll make their head spin. Big oil, big farms, they'll listen to me, not lobbyists. No more ripoffs. MAGA. Well, last time I checked,
liar.
And gas prices are the gas prices that are where they're at now, even with them coming down, it's not because he's done anything at all. this was all what took in effect, and because Biden more than any other president, and I'm not a Biden fan, but Biden more than any other president tapped into our more of our own in-home natural resources and reserves. So this and Trump's idea is that if he gives the oil companies and gas companies a tax break, they'll in turn turn around and lower our gas prices if he gives the rich a tax break.
Listen, it's a new day. Everybody is switching to electric cars, right? Who gives a fuck about some gas prices, right? On top of the fact of this, right? If you just look at a Big Mac, a quarter pounder, a fucking large fry, look at the price of that shit 25 years ago. My point of this is no matter what we talk about, no matter what it is, it's more expensive than it used to be back in the day. And the reason why is because we make more money than what we used to make back in the day, right? You paying this $2.80 and all that shit is the equivalent to you paying 99 cents in the 80s. It's the equivalent. It's the same fucking thing, right? You might have even been paying more if you consider that, my first job, I made $4.25, right? And that wasn't 40, 50 years ago. So just imagine what people were making in the 80s, right? Paying 80-something cent, 90-something cents for gas. That shit had to have been high as fuck. So I really don't see why people would really vote against their best interest just because a person is claiming to make gas prices lower. Who gives a fuck?
Or eggs cheaper.
Gives a fuck. I have a chicken. They sell them at fucking Harbor Freight any goddamn way.
Next up, judge rules Trump violated court order to unfreeze federal funds. An avid watcher of our pod who fusses when we don't release them to Apple or the other stuff and whatnot. And everybody knows, some of y'all know him as OJ. Some of them know us as Be Nice. Some of us just know him as B. I'm gonna put his own name out there. We didn't have
nigga.
That he was frustrated. And he was like, and we were talking about it, and we'll go into it further on. I was like, "Yo, the MAGA crew or Trump has it to really like fuck around and find out because he's emboldened because he's like, what they're going to do if he ignores the federal judge? He's already proven that they won't arrest him for violating whatever the hell they say.
Nope, they're
not going to come in. They're damn sure not going to impeach him now." Because the House or whatever case, none of the people are going to do it. So there's no consequence to him telling the federal government to not do something. The minute he tells somebody to do something and they don't do it, he then violates the law to fire that person for not violating the law. And then he still goes around and does it. And then the judge tells him to hire the people back. He's not going to do it. They told him to unfreeze the USA funds. He's just like, make me do it. And nobody's gonna make him do it.
I said this before on previous pods, but I just can't wait until Father Time gets him. It's just like the movie. Time is on our side.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. You gonna die, Trump. I give you less than 10 years. Less than 10 years, you're dead, right? And in less than 4, you up out of here. So I just try to look at the bright side of things, right? You can't live forever. And the person that's behind you, I just hope the Democratic Party, or if some miracle falls out the sky and some independent candidate can come out here and just, beat you, then more power to him. But Trump eventually going to die, and I can't wait.
All right. Go ahead, Jade. I'm sorry.
Nah, it says NJ on my face. Salute to NJ. Yeah, I follow her on TikTok and she be all on it. Well, okay, so I want to talk about what she just said in allude to what Jamar just alluded to, right? So there's this thing called the judicial branch of government, right? Mm-hmm. And they're supposed to be an assist to the executive branch for checks and balances. And what we're talking about is the judicial branch not having any teeth, but the teeth of the judicial branch lies in the House and Congress. I mean, the House and Senate, in the congressional arm of government, right? Mm-hmm. So if the judicial side ushers over to the congressional side articles or orders for them to unfreeze those funds legally, they're going to do it. So it's a process though, but that's what Trump is doing is he is making them go through all these processes because he wants to win headlines. And for the first couple of months, he's done that. That's all his goal is, man. It's not to help anybody. It's not to have the economy strong. It's not to do this. It's to win fucking headlines. And as soon as we realize that, the better off we're going to be. And we'll see that we have to prepare these legal briefings and these legal battles down the line because we know where he's going, but we didn't know that. So we just kind of in reaction mode. And that's kind of how he wants it, regardless of the outcome. So it's not about the funds at all. It's about him drawing out the legal process, just making you go through the motions because that's what he wants you to do.
It just seems like I said this a few years ago, a few times too, before he became the president again. It's like when you listen to him talk, it's like you watching WWE. When I get you in this ring, you know, that's how he talks. And I'm like, you know, I think a lot of people that really are his supporters are really into WWE. Then the motherfucker went and sat there and gave him a goddamn cabinet position. Right? Or if I'm misquoting, please somebody correct me. But I know he gave a person that worked for WWE a fucking job.
She's over the Department of Education.
This shit is fucking crazy. It's like he does everything for clout. Like he just wants somebody to be like, yeah, he really told them. He just implements, he really did it.
Without the work to do, he just implements loyalists. Those that do what he tells them to do. Don't question it. If you do something and he violates, and it's supposed to be thing, we have safe. D80 can tell me if I'm wrong. Every time a safeguard pops up, trying to do their job to stop him from doing what he's supposed to do, we had these safeguards in place. He fires them if they take that to court. And so,
and that's what's happening now. And now it's starting to.
Yeah.
The federal workers have been put back now. So yeah.
Shout out to my cousin Dallas. Worked for the Department of Veteran Affairs. I think he works for Veteran Affairs, whatever the case. He got laid off, and a shout out to my aunt Crystal, worked for the IRS. She got laid off because she's probationary.
That's so stupid, man.
It is, bro. I'm all for government cuts and spending and everything, but I'm not for when you just come through with a hacksaw and then you lie, just dress it up under they weren't performing up to standards, so you can fire them, but it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Next up,
it is, NJ. Sorry,
next, wait, hold on real quick. Instead of bouncing around, let's keep it where we at before we bounce away from them. Tariffs.
Ooh. Get them, Reggie.
Get him, Reggie. Shout out. You know what? I'm gonna say this, and I hate it at the same time. It's interesting to see another Trump-like figure get into it with Trump, but that's the way the world is going with this whole nationalism attitude and these whole whatever case through. So Ford, I know a lot of us are enjoying him giving Trump back the business and talking shit about Trump, but he is Canada's version of Donald Trump.
I mean, but his hands is being tied, right? You know what I mean? You calling his bluff. You're doing stuff to his people, to his nation. So he has no choice but to fight back. And the thing about it is, Trump, you're doing this shit for no fucking reason. You're doing this to Canada. Canada ain't never really did nothing to us, even according to your logic, right? I can see you doing this to Mexico, but you're not going to win that anyway because, I mean, come on now. What does America really build or make? What, like, really? Nothing. So I don't see how this makes any logical sense. What you going to do if this motherfucker really cuts the power off? What you going to do? Are you going to make it seem like it's his fault? Are you going to try to make this a whole anti-Canada thing going? Or are you going to try to kick these people out, the Canadians that are here? Are you going to try to start? Well, you already started a trade war. What are you doing?
Bro,
what are you doing?
Eric, you so right. Let me tell you how behind and out of touch these fuckers are. Right now, he's making a big push talking about the Panama Canal, right? While everybody else is already way steps ahead because the Panama Canal is dealing with issues with drying up and they're running out of being able to keep it fed with water to keep it going. And he's still focused on that old shit, and everybody else is busy trying to either build or find new ways to create that gap to stay ahead. He's not innovative. He's more like, let me go back to the old shit, make America great again. So he goes back to the old and shit that whatever case we used to do, or when he thought it was great, instead of being innovative, creative, and pushing something new to push us forward so we can take the lead. Where's the ingenuity? Where's the drive to be like, let me put us on the frontier of America, creating the next big thing that everybody will have to come to. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that ideas. He doesn't know how to think of that. He only knows how to go back to, well, yeah, when we were doing all the steel, we were making money. Yeah, and then when all the bosses were sitting there running the country and we got rid of unions and everybody was getting tired and getting killed on the job and no rights and working these fucking back-breaking hours and stuff like that. And we didn't have all these sissy-ass labor laws in place and whatnot. America was booming. But this is the reason its history repeats itself, because does he not realize that is the main reason more than anything else why the switch happened.
And then look, right? Okay, so we can make the false narrative claim that America built the Panama Canal. Not really. And I can prove it to you, right? Reggaeton. Where was reggaeton created at? Panama, right? And the reason why it was created there is because you brought the Caribbeans, primarily the Jamaicans, there to build the fucker. America did not do shit. That's why you see so many Panamanians that are black. And the reason why is because they brought them from the fucking Caribbean there.
You probably still cheated them on $1 when they was building that.
You did. Listen, okay, that's just like, okay, no different than when you see Mexicans come here illegally, right? You're inviting them in to rip them off. The reason why you're bringing them here is because, okay, yeah, there are people here that can do the job. You just don't want to pay them. It's the same situation. Right. Cheap fucking labor. So.
All right. Let me make sure that there's nothing else on him as we go forward. And I think we're good on that. And then next up, we'll go to Jermaine Dupree. Questions independent artists about what is it exactly that they get out of being independent compared to going to a label for all the things that they want when the label can give them. And I think he posed it more as a question, trying to seek knowledge from a point of wanting understanding. But everybody, of course, the young versus old argument happens, and everybody wants to come for him. And I think he was genuine, at least from what I heard him say, he was genuinely asking, like, I'm trying to understand this. I've been on this side of my success tier, but I don't.
It's a loaded question because literally you know what the answer is to it, bro. You know firsthand what the motherfucking answer is. Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and answer it, right? You can skip paying the pimp and do your own thing. Today's day is less important, in my opinion, to have a label. And the reason why is because there's no platform to buy shit from, right? I mean, you can get streaming apps and pay a monthly subscription like I do, but motherfuckers ain't out here selling CDs and shit no more. Don't nobody pay for download. Don't nobody do that. So how are you gonna make money? The only way you really gonna make money is by doing shows. Now you can get streams, right?
Right.
But you get what, 2,500 every million streams or something like that. So you really got to be doing some serious numbers to really get it change. You know what I mean? So
right.
I don't really see why he would ask that question.
I think for him being major for the majority of his career and doing works for the majors, and this level of success he has achieved, and maybe not seeing, because eventually these artists start off independent, and then a lot of them end up wanting to get to or get what, from his standpoint, wanting to get to what the big labels already will do for you. And me personally, me answering him is, I've heard, well, let me say this first before I answer that part. I've heard a lot of artists sit there say, like, all these rappers run around claiming about, I got my masters, I'm independent, But they own their masters and don't know what the fuck to do with them. Don't know how to use them for them to go out and make the money. They just own some shit. It's like a motherfucker winning, like a motherfucker getting rich winning the lotto, right? And they heard motherfuckers say like, go buy a whole bunch of property and go buy some fucking farmland. And then don't know shit about farming. And now you got all this farmland and now you sitting on it and have no idea what to do with it, right? So, but that doesn't mean that independence is bad. That just means that there's a whole nother part to it that people still have to learn. There's a whole nother part of the business. And for Jermaine Dupri always being tied to a major and having the success he had, I tell people all the time, your experience is not always the same as my experience or somebody else's experience. Because
especially not him.
Yeah, especially not him, because you can go to Tech Nine and Tech Nine can break it down like a motherfucker greatness about being independent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's different strokes for different folks, and there's nothing wrong with asking these questions and creating these conversations. That's how some other artists who may have been thinking going independent might be the right way, but realizing that no, probably signing to a label is going to get you the actual things you're looking for, and vice versa. But that's all I got on that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Daddy.
I didn't think it was a bad question at all, man. I thought it was him just asking a question that he already knew the answer to. That's all. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah, I just get it.
So if you do some background, some real background on Jermaine Dupri, he's had a first-hand fucking education on the music industry his whole life.
Yeah,
like
man.
You can compare him with Floyd Mayweather. I'm not talking about, Floyd Mayweather's 50 and no record or whatever. I'm talking about how you see the old videos of Floyd Mayweather right next to his father, right? Running with him, boxing with him in the gym as a small toddler. Same thing. All you got to do is just go back to the Houdini video, the little kid with the Jerry curl pop like a pop. That's him.
Oh, wow.
That's him. All day long. He was on the road with him and everything. So his father was worked for Sony or something like that. His father was like a music executive, right?
Wow.
So he's been in the industry his whole fucking life. And that's why he has the education he has. And that's why he never got pimped. He became the pimp. You feel me?
Yeah, basically.
Right. He was taught to be the pimp. So for him to ask that question, it's redundant, bro. Don't make no sense.
Well, next up we have young girl. Day after her birthday was unfortunately taken out and murdered also while the gunmen in Texas were hunting down her father. It is speculated and rumored to be all over rap crew beefs that spilled further into the streets. What you guys take on that? Texas. It happened in Texas. I'm sorry.
It's sad. It's sad. It's just fucked up. But with me, I think that there needs to be some kind of fucking gun law changes. It's because people are going to get into disputes. People are going to get into beef, right? That's going to happen no matter what. But the accessibility to go get a gun every time that you get into a squabble or a situation is just so easy that, especially down in Texas, oh my goodness. When I was down there, the several times I've been down there, I seen people at the corner stores just guns all the time. Like there's guns every fucking way, right? So there's too many guns here, man, and shit just happens. It's sad, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think, regardless if it's rap beef or internet beef or office beef or street, it don't really need to come to anything like that. But it happens because that's the kind of society that we live in, man. So definitely rest in peace to her and the family, but definitely prayers up for them. But again, it's something that you're going to see more and more of because that's just the society we live in today. It's kind of sad.
Next up, Iman Shumpert gives up $10 million in assets in divorce to Tiana Taylor. Damn.
Man,
Why did one stick me for my paper? Damn.
I have some uncommon fucking views on marriage. Like, so when it comes to marriage, there's two things. I look at it traditionally as a form of female slavery, and on the new school era, I look at it like as just a terrible situation for a man. But I don't think that most men, especially men that got serious money, I don't think that they know that what they signing themselves up for. You are literally saying that you are financially responsible for this person and whatever comes from this situation. And you are also saying that if it doesn't end right, that you're going to be financially responsible for this person as well. And then when these things like this happen, we just look back at it like, damn, bro, she got you. She got you. But you can't say that you didn't know. You can't say. It's too late for that. It's too late.
10 million. Just imagine your account just went up $10 million in one day.
I think it was total all the assets because he gave up four homes and 4 properties, and then the rest. So I mean that sucks. But and then I think he's got to pay if I remember right, it was like 25 or no $8K a month in child support.
He don't got that like that no more. He don't play no more. He don't got no $1 million contracts no more. No $100 million contract.
Hey, if he got it in accounts or hopefully he invested. If it was me and I had it and could get it liquid, I would just pay it out and let be done or have it set up in a trust, so I'm not even worried about it no more. Because they got 2 kids, so I think it's $4K a month per each kid. But I would just set it up in an account and then just never have to worry about it again. So I can't touch it. They taken care of, and we're done. Let me move the hell on with my life.
Man, marriage is expensive, man.
Bro. Next up, and I believe this is last but not least as far as the news, but Diddy's lawyers claim tape was doctored up by CNN when they went to CNN to get the tape. CNN, they claim destroyed the tapes, but I don't know. As this is lawyers just trying to do what they can do to muddy the waters.
What tapes?
This tape. They said this tape was doctored up.
I got you.
Cassie's ass.
I got you. But there's no tape. There's no actual tape. There's none. This is all digital. This is 2025. So I'm figuring this is what 2017, 16, 15, something. You know, fucking tape. It was recorded digitally. So you can go back and get the whole thing digitally. Ain't no fucking tape. So I hate when people say that shit.
Damn. All right, Dad, you got anything to add to that?
Nah,
legs twisted like that. That's blowing it.
Yeah, I don't have anything on it. Man, look, he ain't getting out of jail for a long time. So.
And why the fuck is his socks pink like that?
Well, the thing is, if we know most of it's true because he wouldn't have paid Cassie so quick once it came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he can say what he wants. Skip. Remember that video drop? He paid her the next day.
Yep. Let's go.
But wait a minute. Before we get off him. So yeah, he definitely did that. He did that. Okay, maybe you caught him with some grease in his house, you know, some baby lotion. What else?
Underground lair.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm still not seeing how he should get life. It's still hard for me to see that. You know?
I don't know, man. I guess we'll see.
I think some of the other accusations about him need to be proven. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that man is innocent or anything like that. But it just seems like what we have just damning evidences of, a lot of it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. Squabble up. All right, next up we got sports. Playoffs are coming up. Play-in tournament is about to happen Luka is sitting out today's game for the Lakers. I believe that hey, all I know is somebody should have took that bet, or there's a bet going on, and I ain't gonna say between who, but all I know is the Lakers will make the playoffs. They ain't gonna finish the high seed somebody said they was gonna finish at.
The bet actually is that they're gonna get put out the playoffs the first round, no matter what. And I'm going to say that that's a pretty safe bet. And the reason why I say that is because so Luka's sitting out, right? This a loss, period, right? So we know Bron going to be out the next 2 weeks, which is probably a good thing for the overall picture of the Lakers, right? Because you know he's 40 years old. He's 40. You know, he kind of needs to rest a little bit too, whether if he got injured so much or not, right?
Right.
But you also have to look at playoff positioning. There is certain teams that the Lakers will most certainly beat in the West. There are certain teams that they will. And there's teams in the West that they most certainly will lose to, right? Denver. If you could not beat them with one of the best defenders in the world, in AD, because he is, you know you can't beat them. That's number one, right? OKC, you know you can't beat them. You know you can't beat them. Minnesota, you cannot beat them. Right? Houston, I'm going to say that you could beat them. They are better than you, but you might can knock them off just with experience. Maybe. Right? You can definitely beat the Clippers. You could definitely beat San Antonio. You can definitely beat Golden State. You could definitely beat the Suns, right? You could definitely beat Portland. You could definitely beat Utah, right? But that's where it stops. So it matters who they play. If they don't get in the top 4, they're out of there. Well, maybe if they face the Clippers, because I think they can definitely beat them in whatever position.
All right. DA, do you care to add to that?
Well, I just want to see the Cavs win. Not any playing tournament thing. I just want to see the Cavs win. I'm at this point where I'm so disgruntled with the Browns and sports period that I just need to see my home team win and do something. Something at the beginning of the season no one could have ever fathomed with the new coach coming in, not knowing about Donovan's knee. So many question marks. Can Jared Allen step up? Can Mobley become who we think he is? And everybody's answered the challenge in this. So it's exciting to see. But I will say this about the Lakers: it's really tough because a part of me is like, I know down the line they're gonna be balling like crazy. But then I'm thinking about LeBron, man. I'm thinking like he's freaking 40 years old. Like, how do you weigh that? Like, you know, is it now or never for him?
Yes.
You know?
Right.
So it's so interesting to watch and see how that's gonna play out. So I'm definitely intrigued. I think Oklahoma's, the best team in the West, of course. They beat Boston like they stole something. And I love to see what they're gonna become, But at the same time, it's just the Lakers are very intriguing to watch, man. So once LeBron comes back from that injury, we'll see where they end up.
Facts. All right, next up we have Colorado, and Dion can be heard. And one of the things about they better have my money, quit playing with me. Colorado needs to run Coach Prime his money. I keep thinking that they probably offered him some nice payment amounts because they don't want to leave him. He's the greatest thing to happen to him. And I feel that Coach Prime, unfortunately, D80 is probably going to be right about this, but he's been preaching about USC waiting in the wings for Coach Prime, and there's a bigger bag on the horizon.
Yep.
I'm starting to agree with it. It didn't make any sense like when the first time D80 was saying that shit, but it started to make sense based off of his attitude, his persona. because the truth of the matter is that really Colorado is not really big enough for Deion technically.
Nope.
I don't know though. If he wants his money, right? If that's what he's telling them, he deserves it. Colorado, you owe it to him. You owe it to him. You would have nothing if it wasn't for him. You wouldn't have had the players that you had the last couple seasons. You wouldn't have the players you have right now. You have zero notability, notoriety, and that shit all brings in money. You will have no television time, nothing. So if I'm Colorado, I'm gonna give it to him. You might as well go ahead and give it to him. Deion, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if USC is going to be a good move for you though in the long run. Well, short term, because man, you're going to get your ass beat by Ohio State, dog. It's coming. Not only is you going to get beat, you're going to get pummeled. And unless you can just convince all them West Coast California recruits, because let's not play games. They got some serious fucking talent, especially in LA. But them motherfuckers be going to Oregon and shit like that. You're gonna have to try to talk them motherfuckers into staying home, bro. Good luck.
Like, this is gonna sound weird to say, but I'm trying to told you right now that Deion going to USC is not about the money. It is about star access. They are going to roll out the motherfucking LA red carpet. It is going to be a homecoming like you've never ever seen. He is going to get the star athletes to come there because the money is going to be there. That's the only part that he's worried about. As long as they got the coverage for the NIL deals the way that he needs them covered, the way they can get the players that he needs them to get, he's fine. I mean, the pay's going to be there. It's just the fact that opportunity, stardom, and I don't even know if I can say this yet because I wasn't prepared to make this argument to Reggie, but I've been formulating in my brain for these past couple of months, where we know that joining the Big Ten is a risk financially for Pac-12 schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the TV rights deal makes up for all of that. The money makes up for any kind of losses that they would suffer sports-wise. So I think they chose dollar over dominance.
Do you think that Deion Sanders wants to remain a college football coach for a long period of time?
Yes.
I don't. I think he's trying to get in the NFL.
See, I don't think so, man. I think okay. Well, go ahead.
Maybe not in the next 2 or 3 years. No, I ain't saying that. I'm saying that his goal is going to be to get in that NFL, bro. And if he goes to USC, he is going to. You know what? I forgot that Oregon is in the motherfucking Big Ten too. I forgot.
Yeah.
God damn it. Deion. Man, listen, you must got balls. If he do that, he got balls still because he know he got some 5-win seasons coming. Penn State gonna get
I want to argue, but I know you're right.
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate, but more or less want to say, and only in the stance of the USC thing. I think that USC was before Coach Prime, and of course nobody's going to be able to whatever case because Coach Prime is one of one. But what I will say is that when Lincoln Riley first went there, the dollars was pouring in. They had Beats giving them money. They had organizations, other big things out of LA giving them money. The issue with California is more of the issue of California. That West Coast kids aren't into, especially in California, the number of kids participating in athletics or participating in football is down tremendously compared to where it was in the 2000s and the 90s and the 80s and so forth. Kind of football just slowly but surely become less of a priority to the kids when it comes to sports. A lot of them are more in the hoops and other different things. In football, the numbers are down a lot. Now you'll get kids from Ohio and Pennsylvania and Texas and everything else that will jump at it. And I hate to admit this, but I can see him turning around and taking the FSU job before the USC job. Only because he's a Southern boy.
Oh, it's easier.
It is easier, and it's less pressure, and he can go in there and dictate how he wants to do things compared to where USC, you still have these motherfuckers no matter how big you come in, because it's USC and it's LA that still feel like they run shit. So that's my only thing, pushback against USC, but it doesn't mean that what my brother says isn't wrong, or it's not a dope move, or it's not the move that is right now looks like what could be happening. I'm just saying there's other rumblings of Florida State. I honestly feel the team that fucked up and should have took him when they first were thinking about him coming up and they interviewed him, Auburn dropped the ball so big. And Under Armour was pushing for that because he'd got to stay with Under Armour like he wanted to. And he'd have been at Auburn, and they got the resources to help him, but they just didn't believe in Coach Prime.
Lincoln Riley, like the white folks say, your ass is grass.
I'm starting to believe it, because now you got to really honestly think, right? What is Deion's motivation for coaching at Colorado now? Nothing. He has none. He has no motivation to coach for that organization right now. And if he does, it's going to have to be something that they produce, right? So either you're going to have to pay him, max him out, or he going to go on somewhere else. I mean, we don't know behind the scenes unless you really, really are into it. About the recruits and things like that he has for this next coming class. But I can assure you it's going to be nothing compared to his counterparts in the Big Ten and in the SEC. I can assure you of that. So there's really no motivation of staying there. You're not going to ever win a national championship there. Never, ever.
Nope.
It is an easy job that is in a power conference that you could potentially win every year. I don't know how you're going to talk kids into coming there. I really don't know how. I don't know if Colorado has the money like that to get people to persuade the kids to come there. So I don't know. I would dip probably
the money. They got the money.
I think they got the money. I think Colorado was afraid of giving him too much power. They've already given him a lot, and there's always like, do we give him too much? And then you don't know because he flirted with NFL, but I think he's always used that as more of a leverage tactic.
Yeah.
But I do believe that Jerry Jones told him they would do what they needed to do to move up to get his son. He would have took the Cowboys job.
I mean, yeah, anybody that used to play for Jerry Jones is going to want to take that Cowboys job, truthfully, because he in love with you. He gonna hold on to you when you do too long. When you should have got fired. That's the dream job, to be the Cowboys coach if he used to coach for him, or be the Cowboys quarterback. Them some secure jobs.
So, next up, so we can get to this main topic. We're gonna just jump into March Madness is around the corner. Let me zoom this in.
And Duke is beating the brakes off of North Carolina right now. And Duke ain't even got Cooper Flag. It's crazy.
Bro, my Tar Heels suck balls.
College in the past 10 years had just been just terrible, man. I don't even. It's sad to say that I'm not even really interested in it. And I used to be a big fan of it. I used to love it.
Not even March Madness?
No, it sucks, man. Now, what I will tell you is it's 10 times better than the Pro Bowl and the goddamn the All-Star. It's way better than that. But that's about it. It's running neck and neck with WNBA.
Oh,
I think women's college basketball is significantly better than men's.
Yeah,
significantly.
It's more intense.
Yeah. Okay. So what I will do is we'll do this last one because it means so much to my brother.
Oh, yeah.
Brown fans, What was it saying again, D80? The most loyal fans are the fans with the most hardship?
Oh man. Okay. So
Man.
these are the.
I'm going back to Canada.
I mean, it's a poll going around about the fans who suffer the hardest hardships of being a fan of a franchise in football. Okay, and the fucking Cleveland Browns won that coin toss. Okay, and the reason why I don't
coin toss.
Well, I just meant it came down to two teams.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I meant like out of all the teams, it came down to two, and it was on the. I can't remember who the other team was, but that don't matter. But it was us. This whole Myles Garrett thing is such an embarrassment. It is. I would rather him have either sat out the season or them traded him than to do how it was. Even though I'm glad to see him come back, but a part of me is like, man, what the fuck?
I'd have traded him.
Get something for him.
Yep.
But
yeah, they should.
But now that he's still here, we still don't know what the hell's gonna happen at quarterback because the guy y'all just paid to come here, Kenny fucking Pickett, can't fucking throw anything beyond 30 yards. He just can't do it. Now, granted, you don't got to be Russell Wilson. You don't got to be fucking Jameis Winston. But in Cleveland, in the cold, and I know Pittsburgh is cold, but Cleveland's a little bit colder, you got to have an arm that can cut through that shit. And I didn't see that with Kenny Pickett, man. And
they must be taking a quarterback in the draft, huh?
He did in college, though. That motherfucker had a cannon.
Right. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I watched Pitt run through so many teams. I'm like, what the fuck?
It was all him. It was all his fucking arm. That motherfucker was throwing some bombs.
Yeah, but what what happened?
I don't know. He got, he's like 39 years old now.
Are you serious?
He throw like he's 39 damn years old.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
He aged like Air Force One.
Are you silly? You got like 5 wears and it's over.
It's done. All right, so let's go to the main topic. So this is the 30th anniversary of one of my favorite albums of all time, but also because this is the celebration of one of my greatest and most favorite artists of all time. Tupac Shakur is just dope. When I heard this, I used to walk to school. I was going to Hayes at the time. I believe it was Hayes. And man, I used to just walk with my Walkman on and just listen to this album, like this tape. I should say this tape. Put it in the tape, my Walkman, flip it over to the other side when it's done, and just keep playing it over and over again. Like, man, they were just, I just can't say enough about what this album meant to my adolescence.
Yeah, man.
For me.
I was about to ask you, was you rich or something? Because I mean, it was CDs back then, but the only way you had a motherfucking CD Walkman in like 94, 95, you had some bread, dog.
No, we had take Walkman.
Right. And if you was walking around with that motherfucker too, shit, you might come up out of that. So I was about to say, like, well, yeah.
Bro, you remember we would go to school, and if you bought a tape, we was opening up the book, the little thing inside the cassette tape, and going through the credits and everything, like looking at the booklet. Man,
hell yeah!
You know what my favorite song was on that album back then? Well, it's not now, but for some reason, my favorite song on that CD was "Can I Get Away? Can You Get Away?"
So much pressure.
That was my favorite song on that album back in the day. But once I got a little bit older and I started really like understanding what he was talking about, it definitely was either so many tears or temptations. But the whole album was sweet. Like the intro and everything. As soon as it came on.
Outlaw. Dear God, I wonder, can you say
it went out sweet too with Death Around the Corner.
Yeah, Death Around the Corner.
Ooh, yeah.
But again, now
I was an itty bitty kitty drinking liquor out my mama's titty.
It makes sense now. Me knowing more about him, being an adult, knowing what where his mind was at during that time, I understand why he was saying a lot of the shit that he was saying. At the time, I definitely did not know. We didn't have cable back in those times either. So, in them days, if you didn't have cable, it would be the comparison to now, like not having no internet or no phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
It was kind of right. You were secluded from the outside world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some news you wasn't really getting all like that, especially when it came to like hip hop and entertainment news. Now, it was big then, but it wasn't. I'll put it like this: there were some radio stations still that didn't even play that shit. You know what I mean? So you kind of couldn't hear it all, right?
I never listened to the radio in that time.
But I would say,
was it Hot 101 jams?
Yeah, 102
Back
jams.
then, I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't no rap stations.
My radio station was The Source, Rap Pages, Rap Magazines, and Word of Mouth in school.
But I would say, song for song, that definitely was probably that was his best work right there for sure.
I agree. But
All
to
Eyes
me,
on
I
Me
take it
had more, but it was a lot of shit on there that wasn't that good.
I think it's the best album ever created. I think it's the ultimate classic album, expanded any genre. It's just the deepest album, man. There will never be another. You cannot balance music like that anymore, and just still be eclectic. And I just don't know. It just came out at the perfect time. Him going to jail, not being able to be in the videos, so the videos blowing up because we're just like, oh my gosh, like it was so introspective. Like his previous albums didn't give you a shot into his life like this, but this one just opened up everything, man. I mean, he talked about his mom being a freaking crackhead. You see it, not her, but a person smoking the crack in the Dear Mama video going down. I mean, talk about a sign of the times. And you got so many people who was going through that with their own family members, their own aunts and own uncles. Like he touched so many fucking people in a broad stroke of a brush of an album, man. So that it's a reason why that album is what it is. It's the best hip hop album ever created. It's the best album ever created, in my opinion, man. And I listen to everything. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. Except for bluegrass, I don't like that shit.
You're trying to say that I don't care. I woke up and screamed, "Fuck the world!" Trying to say
they want to know if I claim the clique that I'm hanging with, and if I'm down with this banging shit.
I would say it's slightly better than Machiavelli.
I don't know. I think Machiavelli was rushed. I feel like it was sloppy. I feel like me and my girlfriend could have been way better if he had took a second breath on that song. Again, he's about to die in a couple days, so I guess he. I never leave you alone. I love you, black girl. I'm so happy. Like, come on, man, you could have did that first.
The only song that was really phony on that CD was "To Live and Die in L.A."
Man, yeah, no. Me and my girlfriend hit the bricks a little bit.
You crazy?
Listen, now that I told you that, listen to the song again. You're like, oh shit.
No, I heard everybody talked about the mixing and mastering on it. Like that's like the biggest thing. Like DJ Quick was so pissed off when he hears it, and when he was on Nori, he was talking on Drink Champs.
It's trash, man. And
it was rushed. It was just Suge Knight and him trying to capitalize and get something out before his mama and anybody else stepped in and stopped them from doing what they wanted to do.
That's top 10, one of his best songs right there.
What I love about that album, Machiavelli, was that it was just so different at the time.
Yeah.
It was just like I even to this day, I can remember going to like house parties and they be playing Toss It Up. And motherfuckers just be sitting there dumping up in the ground and like, I love the way, like just, this shit was just.
Hail Mary was the shit, man.
Hail Mary was the shit. But again, like, and sad part about it, I love being All Eyes on Me. But I like them two albums over All Eyes on Me. But I love All Eyes on Me.
Like, I give him extra credit. I give him, me knowing more about him, now I give him extra credit for not this album, but All Eyes on Me and Machiavelli. And the reason why is because none of that shit that he's talking about, he's not about none of it. He's not about none of it. So I have to give him extra credit for his storytelling skills.
I think the problem is that that's not who he was.
That's what I'm saying.
But he showed that he participated in the foolery. You know what I'm saying?
He did participate in the foolery when he started hanging with Shook.
So it wasn't that that's just not.
He did.
When
and that's sad. He did too.
Yeah, when All Eyes on Me first came out, the Fugees came out also. And my mom was gonna buy me either one, but she was like, "Get Tupac because it's like a double disc, and you know we love Pac." So
good choice.
But at the same time, like, no, man, I want to get the Fugees, but I was a deep Pac fan. Like, even at that age, like I had been listening to Pac like for years at that point. Because I felt like we just connected and he just had said stuff that I resonated with. But when I listened to All Eyes on Me, in my opinion, I didn't know what it was. Like, it wasn't the person that I was used to listening to. So I ain't like it like that. And I'll be honest, I just didn't. And then we ended up going back and getting the Fugees, and I rock this shit out that to this very day. Now, All Eyes on Me have grown on me, and I love the album. I think it's really dope, and it came correct at the right time. But to be honest with you, when that shit first came out, I like that shit.
I didn't listen to it at first when it first came out. It did grow on me, but when it grew, it grew. Like it's just one of those things. Like I appreciate it more probably today than I did like the first maybe couple months it came out.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
Yeah, but there's songs on it that I like at different periods. Like the one that old boy from Jodeci did, that beat. I came to bring the pain hardcore to you. Like that song grew on me, but that went to later on. And then that beat, I was like, wait, that beat was all it was hard. Devontae Swing was a dope ass producer.
The beat was better than the lyrics. Way better.
Yeah. Yep. So chicken no home ain't the one, babe.
I'd like to hear somebody else on that. I would really like to hear somebody else do that same exact beat and it be mixed a little bit different.
Got my mind made up. The more they unveil to the song about how it was and where it went and who was all originally on it and everything, like that just gave it to me like a second life. So then I went back to listening and I'm like, oh, you can't hear Capital. Oh shit, damn, man. Like it was just Miss Howard when he said at the end of it.
No, that's expected that.
They took his verse off.
Yeah, they took his verse off.
It's like, what the hell?
It was so dope, man. It was just like, to me, Tupac was.
And did you catch Redman's diss to Dog Pound in that song?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I remember that. I was like, oh, it's so.
Yeah, he was on it. We was sniping the
Bro, is it sad? But I loved when I would hear, especially Method Man on West Coast tracks.
Oh,
like when he was on Spice One's album, oh man, he killed it. Man. And then when he was on All Eyes on Me, and he was on a couple other different ones, and I used to be like, I think he was on Tash's album from the Alcoholics, and I just would hear Meth on some of these West Coast beats, and I'm like, I just love his flow.
And then met the motherfucker with the guns blazing. Oh my God, it's amazing. Giving nightmares like Wes Craven.
Wes Craven.
I think a lot of times, like when it comes to the way it sounds, it depends on the rapper. Because so I have been educated later in life that a lot of the songs that I used to like, I still like them from the game. You know, I knew that them beats were like old school beats. Man, them was East Coast beats, right? Mm-hmm. But when he raps on them, they sound like West Coast beats.
Because 50 picked his beats.
even after he left.
Mm-hmm.
Even after he left, you know what I'm saying?
That's the same thing for Ice Cube.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with Ice Cube. Exactly. That's a perfect example. Any beat that Ice Cube rap on.
American Nightmare is basically an East Coast album.
Exactly. But it don't sound like it when you hear him rap.
True.
Right? So if my theory is if you can rhyme, it don't make no fucking difference.
Is that weird? If you go back and look at it, like a lot of East Coast rappers sound so dope over like more like a West Coast sound, and a lot of West Coast rappers sounded dope when they be like on East Coast more sounding type of tracks. It was just like, what the hell is going on here?
You got it or you don't. It's one or the other. Yeah. that's what it is. Tupac was another perfect example. Any fucking thing that he rap on, but him, it's a little bit different because when he rap on East Coast beats, he sounds like an East Coast rapper. When he raps on West Coast beats, he sounds like a West Coast rapper. You feel me? So, but it all comes from the East Coast, so it don't. We're kind of like contradicting ourselves.
Well, yeah, I want to say one thing before we get off that, whatever. On the B side, that Jamar got on the screen, there's a song that It Ain't Easy, and that song was like I used to rewind it and play it so much that my tape broke in that spot, and I'm dead serious, like right there. Facts, NJ, facts. It ain't easy. It's just one of those introspective records that if anybody's listening to this podcast, man, please Google that song, YouTube that song. What's the other Pandora that song? Whatever the fuck you do, listen to the record, man. That It Ain't Easy song. Yeah, and I believe Easy Mo B made that beat, man. It's just so unique and so cool and so smooth, and the way he just bears his soul to the record, man, it's just priceless.
What's the name get? Johnny J, what's his name? Johnny J, the producer that did most of this album?
Nah. Shock Jesus, Easy Mo B. Well, I mean Johnny J, yeah, but he did a lot of it. Well, you got a good point there, man. I take that back. So yeah, you're right.
Okay, but I know there were other ones on it, like what's it?
Lord knows.
Lord knows. What's the name did from Digital Underground did
Shock G.
Shock G did
Lord knows.
I don't care.
Fuck the world.
Yeah.
Man, but Tupac though, he did a lot of dumbass shit when he came to his career. I'm not talking about like criminal shit. Not criminal shit. Let's take that aside.
Fighting the Hughes brothers, getting kicked off.
No. That's that. I'm throw that in the criminal shit too. I'm throw that in there too. Like, bro, you was running around doing all that shit, giving all these people that free fucking shit, bro. Giving all them fuckers them free shits.
He didn't know. You gotta look, dude. This dude, he was 25. Like this dude was still figuring out life. That's the crazy part about it. Like Park had this where we thought he was older. Like when he got out of jail, you literally was thinking this motherfucker was like 30-something years old, and here he run around. Was he 25?
I give you that, bro. But listen, if you in high demand for something, it's valuable.
Yes.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
I let a thug like losing my focus.
And then he could just do it so quick and so easy. He'd be like, all right, man, just roll up real quick. I'm gonna have this shit done real quick. Like I'm about to go take a shit real quick, and I'm gonna have it all done from you. Like that, just going to cat the day when like me and his debate. The same day that shit happened, that's exactly what the fuck he did. That's exactly what the fuck he was doing, bro. If you would have just been charging every single motherfucker from the time you was about 20 to the day you died, a band, bro, your great grandkids would be rich.
Hey man, you live and you learn, bro. I think a lot of hip hop artists back then they just didn't understand the business of it, and at that time that was like so uncool. You remember? Fuck, look what it did to Mason Cameron back then. Like knowing your worth and wanting to charge your worth. I mean, look what it did, bro. And it's crazy because it was bit, and Cameron understood later on, right? But it was so much fuck shit that happened in between that time, to like it was like it didn't matter because all the other shit shadowed it. But now you see them two dudes, bro, and they're like you could tell they just miss each other, like two of the happiest dudes in the world to be back in each other's life.
They was, man.
Yeah,
I'll give you that, but even back then, at least Mace seen the value in this man's penmanship, because that horse and carriage, he gave him $5,000 for that. $5K. Now, true enough, he got paid $25,000 for it. You know what I'm saying? The money was given to him.
I'm still so mad. I was late to find out that Cam wrote "Crushing You."
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. That's
song
he paid.
When I go back though, I'm like, wait a minute, Cam wrote that? Get the fuck out of here!
Deep,
I can hear it.
Because Biggie needed somebody to write some songs for for fucking Lil Season them.
And Big couldn't write it because Puff had his publishing.
On top of the fact that, you know, if he writes it, it's going to still sound like him anyway. So you kind of need different points of view anyway. And you're going to need somebody that can really spit. Mace really could spit. So he gave him $25,000 to write him some songs. And he fucking played Cameron 5 to write Horse and Carriage. I mean, Crush on You.
That's deep, man.
Yep.
Deep
So, if all
love
props,
Crush on You, though.
I love Crushing You. With all props and due respect to love of hip hop, and we gonna definitely he's one of the goats. He may not be everybody's goat, but he's my goat. He may not be lyrical enough for other people, but he's an amazing songwriter. He's an amazing diss rapper. He's always shown love to hip hop as a whole, and just respect for the art form. One of the most talented individuals to ever grace the microphone. He's the one guy that can go to a record label, and one of the biggest rappers ever in the world. We just decided to put that person second fiddle when he went to Death Row, and everybody, oh yeah, and then there's Snoop. Snoop's still there too, but it's all about Pop. But to say that is to say that he's not just the West Coast. He is. He is. A lot of people in the South really resonated with this brother. And the South loves Pop. You ask Lil Wayne, you ask Scarface, you ask a lot of these guys who were his contemporaries or sometimes in the game before him. They loved this brother. Master P swears by all the time.
He did.
And even your Trick Daddy speaks on it. He's so influential to the game, and yet he was Eminem. Yeah. So that's dope, and I'm happy we appreciate, and I still bump this album to this day. It is
tonight. I get it some shit.
He probably had the best penmanship ever. I still don't think that there's a human being that's walked on planet Earth that's heard every fucking Tupac song. I don't think so.
I'm jealous if somebody heard it and I didn't.
I don't think that you have. I don't think nobody has. And listen, I've heard probably all the Machiavellis because they used to sell them right at that damn store right there by the fucking pool that we was talking about.
We were kids.
I bought when those same Machiavelli albums came out later on, and they just were renamed different shits. I bought them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the time, I used to sell CDs and shit. And again, I was the biggest Tupac fan ever. But again, he has a lot of material, and that man definitely had a brain on him. His character, again, I don't really care for. But that doesn't take away from the type of artist he was.
The art. It doesn't take away from art.
Right. I would argue that he was a better actor than he was a rapper. I would definitely argue that. It's just I don't think that he really was presented the opportunity to showcase that as much as he did his penmanship. You know what I'm saying? Because of legal issues. Because he was, his whole professional career, he was going through different legal issues, whether if it was from shooting at the police, fighting like D80 said,
getting beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Getting beat up,
shooting the off-duty cop.
The situations with Suge, right? The situation when he got shot, the night when the shit went down with the girl. Tupac was involved in a lot of shit. I think a lot of it is his fault. I think also he was a bad judge of character, too, more than anything. I think he was a very, very bad judge of character, and I can't say that's his fault. I can't say that's his fault. I think he just naturally was a trustworthy person, a little too trustworthy of the wrong individuals, and I think his whole life that he always wanted to fit in. And I think that comes from being place to place, house to house.
Yeah,
I can relate to that somewhat.
Poetic,
maybe not to that extent.
Yeah.
Right.
Poetic justice. I'm sorry,
right.
Answer NJ's question. Poetic justice.
So I think that was his demise. I think that when he really got acquainted with Suge and them, because that gang mentality out there is kind of like a family. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think he really knew what he was getting himself into. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just be willingly signing up for that shit. Even though I know you're seeing a lot of it go on, because I'm hearing a lot of more. Excuse me, a lot of more. That's incorrect grammar. I'm hearing more stories of death row incidents that he was a part of. Like, have you heard the Sam Snead story?
Mhm.
Have you heard that?
Do you ever listen to him when he talks?
No.
He talks about all that was happening.
Who's he? You talking about Sam Snead?
No, Pac. I'm saying what Pac was saying. He was talking about everything that was going on, and him not understanding exactly the power that he wielded yet, and he was still learning it. And he talked about how scary it was. And he talked about like not understanding, like, yo, I got all these motherfuckers. It's like, yo, like, and he's supposed to be the OGs or whatever case he looked up to, but they're all like writing him letters like, yo, what's the marching orders? What we need to be doing?
What they got to do with Sam Snead?
No, okay, I'm talking about the fact that Pac overall, just his thing was, I said, you ever heard him talk about everything that was going on when Reggie was talking about just the choices he was making?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just
I'm
like
still trying to figure out what's going on. What? Okay,
oh, Sam Snead was talking about the ass whoopings and people getting pissed on the Suge threatening, in whatever case, and even how Pac was kind of like.
Well, that's not what Suge said. That's not what Suge said. So Suge gave a description. I could play it for you, but Suge gave a description of what happened. Tupac was fighting Sam Snead, and this is what Suge said. Listen, this is what Suge said, right? Suge said that, you know, the red carpet room. Have you seen that room yet? Okay, so at the death row office, right, there's this one room, right, where they will have all kind of freak off parties and stuff, and if you wasn't a blood, you couldn't step in on this certain place, because remember, they're active gang members. They got 20 or 30 active gang members fresh out the county and fresh out the joint around at all times. On top of the fact that you got Snoop and all his crew there, it's always some bullshit going on. There's all kind of fights. They got dogs in there. They got this one dog named Damu that he'll sick on you if you come too close to shit. All kind of wild shit be happening. So Tupac, right, was supposed to perform on Saturday Night Live with Dr. Dre. And he said he didn't want to perform with him. And he was refusing to perform with him. And so they also, the room I just described to you, there was like, I guess, this certain area that if y'all got into it, you know, because there's always going to be disputes, that y'all will go fight it out, right? So if you willing to fight, you can fight. If not, they're just going to call you a bitch. So Tupac was saying he didn't want to perform with Dr. Dre, California Love, because he was saying that Dr. Dre is gay. And he was like, he said that Tupac said to him, now this is Suge's words. He said Tupac said to him, like, look, are you my big bro? If you want to just beat my ass real quick, we're just going to have to fight. But I'm not performing with him because he's gay. And then he started saying it in front of Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre confirmed it. But Dr. Dre was saying, like, I'm not gay, I'm bisexual. He was like, see, this nigga be fucking niggas in the ass, blah, 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 blah. Then he said that Dr. Dre was like, well, shit, you know, if I want to fuck a female in the ass, I do that sometimes too. But, you know, he was saying dudes be riding me, right? So he said that. So he said that Tupac was going off about it, right? Like, see, I told you. And then he said that Sam Snead would always be there with Dr. Dre. He also said that he was simultaneously ripping Sam Snead off, and he mentioned some songs that Sam Snead really wrote, and they really were supposed to be for him, but Dr. Dre took them and took the publishing.
Wow.
He also went ahead and said that every time that somebody would write something, when Dr. Dre would take it, they would be like, come on, man, that's fucked up. Da, 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 da. He said next thing you know, they would spend the night with Dr. Dre. And then the next day they would come back and everything would be cool. So he said that same thing with Sam Snead. And he mentioned some of the songs. So he said the only person next up to fight for Dr. Dre was Sam Snead. So Sam Snead was acting like he wasn't scared. So Tupac whooped his ass. So Dr. Dre ain't want to fight him.
Okay, that's very interesting.
You just had to ask D80, didn't you?
Yeah, I learned way more about Dr. Dre than I ever cared to learn in my life.
That sounds about right? That sounds about right. Because what was Tupac saying? Check his sexuality. He fruited his Alizé.
Yeah. Take your sexuality, fruity as his Alizé.
The funniest part was
I was thinking like more To Live and Die in LA than, you know what I'm saying, than that. But yeah. Damn.
Punk trick with a dumb move.
Did you hear what I
Death
said, bro?
Row.
He said that Dr. Dre was like trying to make an excuse talking about the men be riding.
I don't take it. I get it.
That,
Hell yeah.
that's.
Shout out to Dr. Dre, man. Whatever you do,
let's move on to something else, man.
All right, so as we wrap this up, Tupac, one of the GOATs, and shout out to every the whole journey. Sometimes it's the whole journey, it's the ups and downs to it all. But
Reggie crazy, man.
Yeah, Reggie crazy.
I'm gonna send it to you so you can listen to it.
No, I don't want to. No, you good. I believe everything you just told me.
Hey, bro. So all I gotta say is
I did not know it was going there. I was like,
Diddy and Dre got a lot more in common than people care to want to admit to.
Yeah, beating up women is one of it.
Oh yeah, D Brown. Oh yeah, he was with the shits.
So, man, I hope this don't stop Dr. Dre from signing me. I'm like almost 50 and still want to get signed by Dr. Dre.
Snoop, Mike.
Okay.
Snoop he just signed Sugar Free, so.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, and Sugar Free got signed in Aftermath. You lying to me? Don't lie to me.
No, to Death Row.
Oh, Snoop signed him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope, man.
Yeah, symbolically it's dope, but man,
that's dope.
Hear a 60-year-old Sugar Free rap, but okay.
Mm-mm.
I don't know. I think it's a symbolic, pure symbolic.
Yeah, it's a symbolic thing.
Nah,
I tell a lie. She tell a lie. We go back and laugh and compliment each other's lies.
No, Sugar Free was the shit though. It's just not my taste no more. But I love Sugar Free back in the day.
I'd rather give you my bitch tonight. Yo, this is AAA Podcast. That's Godless Reggie. That's D80. And this is brought to you by Truth Entertainment Films. Thank y'all for tuning in, checking us out. Shout out to Gary Walker checking us in.
NJ, salute with the comment.
What's up, NJ? What's up, Gary?
Yo, we thank y'all for tuning in, checking us out. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell other people to check us out. It helps. God bless y'all. Amen. Have a good night.
Good night, Nick.
Night.